I don't think she intended to get pregnant. No woman who accidentally gets pregnant intends to get pregnant. We just went a little bit too far this one encounter in New York in the Gramercy Park.
It looks like the Diddy saga isn't slowing down anytime soon. And now it's taken an even darker turn. In a brand new interview that's gone viral, a former escort named Clayton Howard, who claims he used to work for Diddy during his infamous freak-off parties, has launched a shocking attack on Cassie, calling her out in the most graphic and controversial way imaginable. This all comes just weeks after Diddy was sentenced to 50 months in prison for 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, a conviction that's already sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. But now Clayton's latest claims are adding a whole new layer to the scandal, suggesting that Cassie herself should face criminal charges for what he says was her role in Diddy's secret world. His words have sparked outrage online, with many accusing him of victim blaming, while others argue that the full truth about those parties has yet to come out. And the interview that started it all? It's with The Art of Dialogue. And trust me, it's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Let's break down exactly what Clayton said, why it's caused such a storm, and how Cassie's powerful letter to the judge completely flips the narrative. So who exactly is this Clayton Howard guy? And why are his words suddenly everywhere? Clayton claims to be a former escort who worked directly under Diddy's circle during those infamous freak-off parties, the same secret gatherings that have now become central to the bad boy mogul's downfall. According to him, he was brought in as part of a rotation of men hired to entertain Diddy's guests behind closed doors, long before the public had any clue what was happening in those penthouses. Now he's breaking his silence in a new interview with The Art of Dialogue, speaking out for the first time about what he says really went on inside that world, and why he thinks Cassie isn't as innocent as she seems. His appearance adds to a wave of new voices surfacing since Diddy's sentencing. Every week, it feels like another piece of this puzzle is falling into place. More people stepping out, more stories coming to light, and more chaos building around one of the most explosive scandals hip-hop has ever seen. And in that same interview, Clayton didn't hold back, especially when it came to Cassie. What he said next has people furious online. Speaking to The Art of Dialogue, he claimed that Cassie shouldn't just be seen as a victim, but as someone who, in his view, actively participated in what went on during Diddy's parties. Again, these are his allegations, not verified facts. He referenced Cassie's emotional letter to Judge Aaron Subramanian, which she wrote before Diddy's sentencing, where she talked about her ongoing trauma and nightmares from her years with him. But instead of showing empathy, Clayton turned it around, saying that Cassie made the decision to undergo that trauma, suggesting she willingly took part in situations others didn't fully understand. He went on to accuse her of allegedly knowing about all the men involved during those encounters, naming a few, and claiming that while others were kept in the dark, she knew everything that was going on. According to him, Cassie misled some of them into thinking they were the only ones she was involved with, when in reality, it was part of Diddy's orchestrated events. But it wasn't just the accusations that shocked people, it was the language he used. At one point, Clayton described Cassie in deeply offensive terms, using a phrase so explicit that many outlets refused to repeat it. His remarks have been widely condemned as misogynistic and cruel, with social media users slamming him for victim blaming and trying to humiliate someone who's already spoken publicly about years of abuse. Now, to understand why Clayton Howard's remarks have caused such outrage, we need to look at Cassie's side of the story, laid out in her powerful letter to Judge Aaron Subramanian before Diddy's sentencing. In the letter, Cassie didn't hold back. She described more than a decade of abuse, saying that Diddy used violence, threats, and manipulation to control every aspect of her life. She wrote that he trapped her using fear, and even used her career as leverage to keep her compliant, threatening to destroy her reputation if she ever tried to leave. One of the most disturbing parts of her statement was her claim that Diddy repeatedly threatened to leak sex tapes as a way to keep her silent. She said his power over her eroded her independence and sense of self until she felt she had no choice but to submit. Cassie also revealed that it wasn't just her safety at risk. She said he threatened her family and friends, leaving her in constant fear that displeasing him could put others in danger. So while Clayton Howard paints her as a willing participant, Cassie's letter tells the story of someone completely trapped, emotionally, physically, and professionally, under the control of one of the most powerful men in music, and the public response reflects that divide. Many people online are rallying behind Cassie, calling her brave for speaking up despite the backlash. Others, however, are echoing some of Howard's skepticism, saying they want more clarity on what really went on behind closed doors. Either way, Cassie's words carry the weight of someone who lived through years of trauma, and they directly contradict the narrative Clayton is now pushing. But as Cassie's letter circulates and the debate intensifies, all eyes are turning back to Diddy and what happens next in his already crumbling empire. As all this unfolds, Sean "Diddy" Combs is still behind bars, serving his 50-month prison sentence after being convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. He's already logged about 13 months from his time at MDC Brooklyn, where he awaited sentencing and has now reportedly requested a transfer to FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey, a lower security facility where he hopes to finish his term. But even with Diddy behind bars, the storm around him shows no signs of calming down. Each week, more stories and testimonies surface, from former employees to alleged witnesses, painting an even darker picture of what was happening behind the scenes. What started as a criminal case has now spiraled into a full-blown cultural moment, exposing how money and fame can shield powerful figures from scrutiny for years. And beyond the courtroom drama, this entire saga has reignited conversations about abuse, consent, and control in the entertainment industry. The same issues that shook Hollywood during the #MeToo movement. People are now questioning how far celebrity privilege can go and whether justice can truly reach those who've built empires on silence and fear. Diddy's downfall, Cassie's bravery, and voices like Clayton Howard's, no matter how controversial, are all feeding into a much bigger story about accountability and power. And as the dust continues to settle, the one thing that's clear is this: the world's still only seeing the surface of what really went on behind Diddy's empire. So at the end of the day, we are left with a story that's dividing the internet. On one side, Clayton Howard's offensive and controversial remarks, and on the other, Cassie's emotional testimony describing years of abuse, control, and fear under Diddy's dominance. It's a complicated, messy situation, and the truth behind it all might still be unfolding. But what do you think? Does Cassie deserve the criticism she's getting, or is she simply another victim caught in Diddy's cycle of power and manipulation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Papaya Room, and hit that bell icon, because this story is far from over, and we'll keep you updated as the story unfolds.